So a lot of times when we're chipping, we have this misconception that we need to be way open to our target and we need to swing across the ball to get it to react. What that does is it creates less spin, harder to judge contact with the ball, and you're going to be mishitting it more times than not because you won't be able to hit the right part of the ground. So what I always like to see for a basic starting point is that we're going to set up with our feet, knees, hips, and shoulders and everything in alignment, especially the shoulders. Now, if I were to open up, what you're going to notice here is this club is going to be delivered a lot steeper into the ball. And because it's steeper, it's going to react totally different. So your average shot, if you stand like this and stand like that, is not going to happen the way you expect. So one time when you land right beside the pin and the next time it's either short or it runs past, it could be just something as simple as setup. So for me, I'm a huge fan of getting pretty square with everything. That means that the club is going to deliver, the delivery of the club is going to be pretty neutral. Like if you think about a club path number, if it was coming this way, it might be across the ball 4 or 5 degrees. If I was coming this way, it might be inside. We're going to deliver this club pretty square. We're not going to be doing anything. You'll notice that there when I hit this shot. So I'm going to make sure my body lines are square. Everything else with the way we talked about our setup. When this ball lands, what you'll notice, go on, hit the pin. What you'll notice is that ball tracked straight down the target line. Now what that means is that I didn't impart any cut spin or I didn't have any draw spin on that there, and that allowed that ball to release nice and smoothly, and that's how you become a good chipper and start to hold more of those chips. The delivery of the golf club, the angle that it's actually moving down and into the ball. Now, for simplicity, we're going to give us 3 different ways to think of this. We're going to have a steep one, we're going to have a normal one, and we're going to have a shallow. So you're going to fit into one category right off the bat. So if you're a steep guy, you need to learn how to get to neutral and then to shallow. If you're a shallow guy, you have to get to neutral and then steep. You want to have an ability to control the differences. If we wanted to add some math to this here, we'd be thinking about, let's say, 3 to 4 degrees down for shallow, 6 to 7 down for average, and maybe about 9 down for about steep. So being able to change the angle the club comes in will allow you to hit so many different shots. But let's talk about how we actually go about and do that. So first thing that we've got to do is understand where we are in our actual play. So I know that I'm actually a little bit on the higher side. I'm like not neutral. I'm slightly on the steep side. So if I'm not careful, I'm going to deliver usually 8 or 9 degrees into the ball. So that's a steep angle. So for me to shallow it, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to make a swing where I actually don't set my wrists. So I'm going to have a bit of a long swing back and through. And what that's going to do is it's going to shallow out the delivery of the club, and it's going to come in. And usually it comes in probably around 4 degrees. So that's kind of my shallow shot. So that would be a really great option for you guys who are steep like me. The other thing that we need to think about here is if you are a steep guy, what we're going to do is we're going to use the same system, but we're going to actually put a little bit more weight on your lead or your trail leg. So we're going to be shallow. I'm going to put a little bit more weight here. Beautiful. That felt so much better. And I think that's probably going to be around the 3 degrees, so not a super steep attack angle. So that's nice if you get a super tight lie. You just want to graze the turf, kind of slide it right across. It's a really super easy option. Now let's talk a little bit about the steep one. So if you're a shallow guy, you have to do the opposite. And what that means is you need to learn how to set. You need to be able to set this wrist angle here so that you can deliver the club a little bit steeper into the ball. So as we're going up, you might just sort of preset it here. We're not taking the club back and setting it. The hands aren't going to move very much. The club's going to kind of move the most. That club's going to be set. Club face is going to be pretty neutral here. And then from there, that's going to be about 8 or 9 degrees down there with that set for me. If I play that same shot and I have lead leg position. So everybody's been